Hello, welcome back to the channel. Jan here, and it's Vlogmas 12. I thought I'd just have a chat with you today about, have you ever had that one of those times in your life where you think that there's a possibility that you may have been conned? Now, I don't know if con is the right word, because I'm suspicious that something that I've bought might not be what it was advertised to be. If I take you back a little bit, if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know the story of my hoodie, which I'm wearing now. The hoodie is a brand of one of these super large blanket come hoodie things that you wear, and this one is an Australian brand. They cost about £100 in the UK, and I wasn't prepared to pay £100 unless I knew I was going to love it. So I bought one second hand just over a week ago actually, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Within the week it's already saved me money because I've been wearing it instead of having heating on. And you know, I do feel very, very comfy when I've got it on. This particular room that I'm filming in here is bitterly cold, but wearing this I'm perfectly all right. But it does have some disadvantages. This particular one has some. Namely, its colour. Now, it's a beautiful, very, very dark navy blue, and I love the colour. But if I'm doing a video for you, I just feel that it's just like too dark, too black, and I'm kind of just this little head perched on top of this big black thing. And hands as well. I look almost cartoonish to me, or to my eye. And also if I'm doing a Zoom meeting, if I do that, then I'll do it downstairs with the laptop on the coffee table. Neil will sit next to me wearing his it's not an hoodie, but it's similar. He's got a black one, I've got this one. You can barely see us, but on top of that, if we're talking to family or whatever, they like to see the dogs. But you know, we've got a black dog and a brown dog, and you just can't tell where the dogs stop and we start, you know. So I wanted one a little bit lighter, so that if I was doing camera work, you could actually see me a bit better. And besides, when I got this one, I thought, well, it will probably end up, you know, we'll get another one so Neil and I can have one each. So the intention was always there to get another one. And as soon as you start talking about these things, as I'm sure you're aware, they start popping up on your social media. You know, adverts start popping up all over the place. So I've got this one, and then I started seeing hoodies on Facebook, brand new from the hoodie store, being advertised for half price. You know, they've got a seasonal thing going on, and I'm not sure if they were $49.99 or they may have even come down to $39.99, but that would be a good price. I think it's actually a good price for what it is, because you know, they are very, very warm, they're very cosy. The only drawback that I would say, apart from not being able to see me or the dogs with them, is that the sleeves are really quite big, so they're not really suitable for working around the home. So if you're trying to wash up or anything, I don't know if you could do it without, or cooking, you know, it would get grimy. But apart from that, and I don't wear it when I'm going in the kitchen anyway, so apart from that, I love it. But then I started seeing this other advert popping up. Hoodie, not from the hoodie store. It was another store, but it started coming up genuine hoodies for £9.90. And I thought, well, that is incredibly cheap. But then you go on the advert, and you know, there's one for £9.90, or you can get a pair of them for a certain amount, or you can get a family bundle of 5 for a certain amount, or a mega pack of 6 of them. And I thought, this is just seemingly too good to be true. The prices were just so cheap. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, why not just get them and see? It looked as if it was all right. The patterns and the colours were identical to the patterns and the colours on the Genuine Hoodie store. They have the tab on the kangaroo pocket that says hoodie. They seem to come with the hoodie bags. So it all kind of looked all right. So I ended up, because you kind of get a little bit carried away, because you think, well, if I get one for me and one for Neil, and then, you know, if I get the kids one, and various other people, because they are just so cheap. So I ended up putting on the order a mega pack, which was 6 of them, and I think that was £25. Then a family pack as well, which was £20. That's 5 of them. So that's what, 11 so far. Then a pair of them, I can't remember how much they were. And then I think 2 singles. And the whole lot together came to £74. And I thought, oh dear, that's ridiculous. But it had to be over £39 to qualify for free shipping. But when I went through the checkout process, they start, because you've been buying in bundles, it comes down in price. So all of it came to $39.99 and no shipping. So that's, well, that's 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus another 2. So 11, that's 15. I think I've ordered 15 for less than £40, which if they're like this, that would be too good to be true, don't you think? You know, and so I can't help thinking that in some way this is too good to be true, and I will find out that I've been massively conned in some way. Although I don't think con is the right word, because I've kind of gone into it thinking that I'm not going to spend what I can't afford to lose. So if I don't get anything back, then, you know, because it'll either be a case of they don't arrive at all, or they arrive and they're a copy and they're really poor quality, or they come through and they're doll size or something. But, you know, I mean, I've seen the people who've bought prom dresses and things from websites that look amazing, but when they arrive, they're just absolutely hideously awful. And I'm quite prepared that that might be what's happening here. But sometimes you just got to take a risk, haven't you? And so I've taken the risk, and the minute they arrive, I will do an unboxing. But who knows? You know, if they do arrive and they're all good, then I will rehome most of them, because there's no way I want 15 of them. But it means that I have one to wear and a spare for when that one's in the wash, because the more you wear them, obviously, especially lighter colour ones, the grubbier they're going to get. And if you're sitting downstairs with the dogs, if you've got a dog on your lap, you know, it's not going to take an awful lot of wearing before it starts to smell like the dog. So I want one to wear, one to wash. And it may be that they look absolutely wonderful until they go in the machine and then they fall apart in the wash. I've got no idea. But I just felt it was worth the risk. Now, the other thing I must say, looking up at the camera, to me, it looks as though the camera's slightly askew. This tripod that you're on doesn't have a bubble level thing, so I can't tell if it's straight or not. And it kind of looks straight, and then I sit down and turn the camera on and I thought, oh, I don't know if it is. So if I'm at an angle, I do apologise if you just tilt your head to the side, meet me in the middle. So there was that I was going to tell you about. But the other thing that I was going to say that I was just so thrilled about, just made me really happy. I had I lost my dad back in 2007, so he died a long time ago. But when I was clearing the house out with my sister, one of the things that was in the drawer that had been in the sideboard drawer my entire life, back as far as I can remember, was a set of darts. Now, my dad wasn't really a dart player. You know, I don't know if he'd ever used this set of darts. It was in a plastic case. They were from the Army and Navy stores. He would have bought them. I don't know if he was actually in the RAF when he bought them, or if it was when he was demobbed after the war, but they have some age to them. So I brought them home, but I don't play darts. Neil doesn't play darts. I asked my son, he doesn't want them. My daughter doesn't want them. Nobody seemed to want them. So after having them for all these years, I thought, do you know what? I need to rehome them and see if I can find somebody who does want them. So if I put them on eBay and sell them, then whoever buys them will hopefully use them and they'll go to a home that wants them. So I sold them, not for a great amount. I think it was £15 I sold them for. And I literally just listed them saying that they were, saying exactly what they were, saying that they had belonged to my father who was in the RAF. Actually, if I just, I don't know if you can see, no, the light's on the, there's a picture up there, but the light is on it, so you're not going to be, and if I turn the light out you won't be able to see it at all. But that's a photo of my dad with his war medals in the screen there. So I just said that they had belonged to my father who had been in the RAF. Sold them, packed them up, sent them off they went. And I thought, well, I'm just glad that they've found a home. And then late last night I got a message, and you know, if you sell anything on eBay, normally you don't hear from the person ever again. They might leave you feedback. You hope that they're going to leave you good feedback. But normally they only get in touch with you if there's a problem. So I see this message from this guy and I thought, oh, you know, what can be wrong? You know, there's practically brand new set of darts, but whatever. I opened the message and I haven't got my phone here so I can't read it to you. But basically it said, I'll understand if you say no, but in the original listing you said that your father was in the RAF. Could you give me his name, his rank and his RAF number so that that can be listed and displayed with the darts? So I don't know what's going to happen with these darts, whether they're going to go into some sort of museum, or I haven't asked him what he plans to do with them, but I'm just so happy that my dad's darts that have been hung on to for all of these years are going somewhere where they're going to be treated with respect, possibly going in a display and will never ever be used, but my dad will be remembered in some small way as the owner of them. And it just made me feel happy. It just made me feel really nice. So I tried to take a photo of the picture to send this chap so that he'd have, because at the bottom of the picture it actually does give my dad's rank and his RAF number. All of those details that he was asking for is all at the bottom of the picture. But when I took, it was about 11 o'clock last night, the light reflecting on the picture, on the frame, it's not a picture, on the frame, meant that you couldn't read it. So I said to him, I'll get a better picture in the morning. But I came out here this morning, we had thunder, heavy rain, so the light wasn't any better this morning. So I still haven't got a decent photo of it for him, so I'm going to have to take it off the wall and see if I can get a decent photo, or at least just write the information down, because I can't read it from, you know, it's kind of small gold writing stamped onto it, so I can't read it from here. And I can read, it says LAC E Monk, Royal Air Force, but I can't read the numbers from here. But like I said, I get just sentimental about old things, and far too sentimental sometimes, and it doesn't do me any favours. When I first moved out of my mum's house, she gave me some of her old bits and pieces, like you do when somebody moves into a new house. You give them bits and pieces to start them off. But one of the things she gave me was a plate that was part of a set of plates that my grandmother was given on her wedding day. Now, I don't know what year she got married. Mum was the youngest of 4, and she was born 100 years ago. So this plate predates that by probably at least 10 years. But it's not a valuable plate. It's not in fantastic condition. It's been used. You know, my grandmother had used it. My mother had used it. I've used it. But now it's a bit like an albatross. I feel as though I can't just get rid of it because it's part of our family history. But nobody knows anything about it except for me. You know, my kids aren't interested in it. I'm sure my grandson wouldn't want it if I said to him, you know, that was your great-grandmother's. I don't think he would want it, you know. And in some ways, I used to use it all the time thinking, if it gets broken, then I don't have to feel guilty about not having it anymore. But it didn't, you know, it just kept sort of... And now it's just at the top of the cupboard, and I'm just thinking, well, I should really just get rid of it. But I can't. It's just something about me that just hangs on to things that have no value to anybody else except for me. And even I don't want them. And I've got several things like that. You know, I mean, my Uncle Arthur, who, he died aged 23 in a Japanese prisoner of war camp. I didn't meet him. That was well before I was born. I only know him through my mum's memories of him and my mum's stories about him. But I have a book that he won as a prize at school. And it's a book I'm sure that he didn't read. It was Lorna Doone. It's not the sort of thing that a teenage boy would be interested in. I have a pewter tankard that he was when he was in the Territorial Army, and he was a heavyweight boxer, and he had won this as a prize for some sort of boxing match. And it's again something that had always been part of our family history. Mum had it sat on the side for all of my life. But at some point, it must have been after she died I brought it home, because I remember going to her house in Cornwall and her saying that somebody had got rid of it and thrown it away, and then I tidied out a cupboard for her and found it. So it was still in her house then, but it came back to my house with me. It's now here. You know, nobody even has the memories that I have of him like I do, because they are what my mum shared with me. So it has absolutely no meaning to anybody else. So when I'm gone, it's of no value to anybody. His medals, I will probably, when I die, I will probably give Dad's medals to one of the kids and Arthur's medals to the other. You know, it's pretty much... they were both in Burma during the war, so they both have the North Atlantic Star, the Burma Star. They have pretty much the very, very similar set of medals. So, you know, one of the kids will get one, the other will get the other. My dad also had a set of small dress medals, which I've already given to my grandson, so he's already got those. But, you know, I had all of my dad was a Freemason, so I had all my dad's Masonic regalia, which I kept when he died. It had value to him. It didn't really have any value to me. And I kept it right up until a few months ago, when my sister contacted me and said that there's a ladies' lodge that she wants to join, and it would have been nice if she could have used some of Dad's regalia. So although I had taken it when when my dad died, the fact that I've got nobody else who wants it, it was again one of those things, what happens to it when I go? So I was actually quite happy to parcel that up and send it to my sister, because at least she wants it, at least she's going to use it. But I really do need to get a real tight grip on myself and get rid of all the things that are just taking up space. I've got so much of my mum and dad's things still here. When mum first died and I brought all their stuff back, I did go through and deal with a lot of it, but there's still an awful lot that I haven't dealt with. That mum and dad always thought that these things had value because it had value to them and because it had cost them a lot of money. Like my mum and dad had a huge collection of blue jasper Wedgwood pieces. That has no value anymore. It's just, they're collectible items, but people just aren't interested anymore. And unfortunately, my dad was so against any kind of clutter or anything, that as these pieces had come into the house, he kept all the boxes in the loft, and then one day he just had a fit and took all the boxes to the tip. So it means that all these pieces are now devalued because they don't have their original boxes. That was just dad all over. But now they have no real value at all. But I'm just thinking, if I can at least put them on eBay and send them to somebody who wants them. And the fact that somebody has bid on them or bought them and paid for them means that they are going to have a better home with them than they would have with me. I've got nowhere to put them. I can't bear Wedgwood anyway. It's got that chalky kind of feel to it, so I don't like the feel of it. So, you know, I need to be very, very disciplined. But I've been saying this for years. You know, right now I've brought everything into this room that I need to get rid of. Things that were my mum's, things that were my dad's, things that I've bought over the years that I don't want anymore, things that belong to my first husband. You know, I'm just still gradually trying to get rid of it. And if you could see behind you, and I'm not going to turn the camera around because I'm too embarrassed, but I've got boxes stacked up probably about 6 foot high, just full of things. And on my list of things to do, I've got clear one of the boxes, thinking that if I do one box every day, I'm going to get closer to it, but I haven't even started yet. So here we are on day 12 of Vlogmas. I haven't even started those, and I'm started off talking about something completely different, gone off on a tangent. I do apologise if you've clicked on this this video to talk about what I started off talking about, then, and you stayed this long. Well, if you have, if you're new and you stayed this long, hit the subscribe button, do me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and hit the bell as well. I'd be very grateful. And then I will be back tomorrow talking another load of rubbish. Okay, you take care. Lots of love. Bye.